Hi, and welcome to the tech industry, bringing hardware, software, and the cloud down to earth. We are Alice and Laura, technology consultants from Zendesk, a customer service software company. We help all kinds of companies evaluate if Zendesk software is the right fit to power their customer experience through evangelizing our products and solutions and consulting on the best technical solution. We originally did this session live for Your Future, Your Ambition 2021, aimed at young people ages 7 to 22. Since 2012, this award-winning yearly event in London has worked to raise aspirations and encourage students from diverse backgrounds to engage with and consider careers within the STEAM industries, so science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. Through workshops, presentations, and mentorship, the event is an engaging and eye-opening experience for thousands of young people to get an idea of what companies in tech look like and future career ideas. So as we're now recording this session to be uploaded to YouTube, feel free to just think to yourself whenever we ask you to chat in this presentation. And me, Alice Egan, I'm also the creator of SaaS Savvy, your online resource for breaking into and succeeding in the tech industry. I want to burst the bubble that surrounds the tech industry and help more people coming from diverse backgrounds or wild career paths understand both the technology itself and this ever-evolving industry. So check out my YouTube channel for similar videos like this one that we developed for Your Future, Your Ambition, where we bring tech back down to earth. All right, so we're going to get into the session on the tech industry, hardware, software, and cloud computing. But before we delve into the subject matter at hand, we want to hear from you. So think to yourself or chat in and tell us what your favorite app is and why. So when we did this live, we got lots of people chatting in, everything from obviously TikTok to Facebook Messenger to WhatsApp. But when you think about all these different apps, what do they have in common? Well, apps, we often forget, are shorthand for software applications. All apps are software. And in today's session, we're going to get upfront and personal with apps, going beyond their pretty addictive little interfaces to understanding how applications run on a combination of hardware, software, and the cloud. We hear about it all the time. Technology has shaped our lives and futures in amazing ways, but sometimes with unintended consequences. Pursuing a career in the fast-paced tech industry will put you in a position to shape the future of something as grandiose as the human experience itself, or simply passing the time in the queue at Tesco or Stop and Shop, wherever you are watching this in the world. Helping companies understand how our software at Zendesk will help companies offer a better experience to their customers is what Laura and I do for a living at Zendesk. We're software consultants. So just like TikTok, just like Reddit, Zendesk is also a software application. More specifically, Zendesk is a cloud-based B2B software as a service company headquartered in Silicon Valley who sells a suite of customer support solutions. What? Well, let's break that whole thing down. You've got this. Zendesk sell our software to businesses, not directly to people. In the business world, this is called B2B, while apps like Twitch are business to consumer or B2C. Zendesk are a company who program, design, sell, and market software that businesses purchase to help their customers via email, phone, and messaging. Zendesk software is sold as software as a service. This means no one comes around to install it for our customers on their company premises. Instead, our customers access the app on a web browser like Chrome or Safari. The Zendesk software itself is built and hosted in the public cloud. We pay the cloud provider, Amazon Web Services, or AWS, to do this all for us so that we can concentrate on building our products for our customers who access them over the internet. Zendesk is a global company with headquarters in San Francisco, part of the historic heart of the Silicon Valley tech industry in California. But the tech industry isn't sequestered to Silicon Valley. From Shenzhen to Tel Aviv, from Lagos to here in London, where we're recording this, global tech strongholds are breeding innovation and limitless career opportunities. As we race into the next evolution of the internet, Web 3.0, all things AI and alternative universes in 3D or in outer space.
Lovely. So I think I'll take over from here. Thanks, Alice. So your generation in particular has grown up on technology. But at this point, many of us, regardless of our age, barely give a second thought to what's actually going on our devices or to the invisible 4 or 5G signals that connect them. So regardless of your ability to choose the perfect Snapchat filter, you might still be wondering, what kinds of companies are tech companies? What do tech companies make? And what kinds of opportunities do tech pose for you, whether you love maths or drawing or even foreign languages? So in today's session, you'll learn how approachable technology actually is, and we'll delve into 3 very important kinds of technology: hardware, software, and cloud computing. We'll break down what they are, how they've evolved, and explore how they're taking us into the future. But we're also going to bring technology back down to earth and think about some impacts of all of this seemingly invisible digital magic that we might not be aware of. And finally, we will round it out by highlighting careers for everybody in the tech industry, so you know where you might fit in and have an idea of how you can shape the future of sustainable innovation in tech for years to come. Because let us put it this way, software does not yet write itself. Tech companies need people to do the coding and to sell it, to market it, take care of employees, to make important ethical decisions, and much, much more. There are so many people making up the backbone of any tech organization. Ultimately, tech is for everybody.
All right, so we're going to start with hardware companies. And to kick this off, a trip down memory lane, what can we say? We are millennials. We do love a bit of nostalgia. So chat in or think to yourself if you can name what hardware we are looking at on the screen here. So coming in first, big old fashioned pieces of hardware. And we are looking at a boombox and an original mobile phone. And these obviously have shrunk down to today's Bluetooth speaker. And what we're looking at there is a snazzy little Android smartphone. And same thing over here. These probably are not as familiar to you, but what we're looking at here on the top left is an old-fashioned hard drive. And on the bottom is an original random access memory or a computer's RAM. And these have really shrunk down over the years into what we're seeing here on the right. So what is hardware? Hardware refers to all the tangible parts of a computer device. So all of this stuff you can actually touch. Hardware stores and runs software, and it's built for us humans to interact with the software inside of it. Hardware can generally be categorized into internal hardware. So things like the motherboard, RAM, graphic cards, processors, and external hardware, a computer mouse, speakers, keyboards, and monitors. We may be more familiar with external hardware, but there's still tons that we still don't see every day. Take, for example, servers. Servers are computers who serve information to other computers called clients that are on a network. You may not realize it, but every time you use the internet, you are accessing a server. When you enter a URL into a browser, your computer communicates with the server hosting that machine and pulls the data onto your computer. Client-server networking is the basis of the entire goddamn internet. When computers were first born in the 1940s, hardware was massive. IBM debuted their first computer, the RAMAC, in the 1960s, which weighed 1 ton and was the size of a filing cabinet. On top of that, its storage capacity was just 5 megabytes. For comparison, this super cute 16-second video of my brother's dog Butters trying to eat an apple for the first time is 4.2 megabytes. So it could only hold a little more than that. Cut to 50 years later, and hardware has drastically shrunk in size, all while gaining unfathomable processing power. Teeny tiny chips are in just about everything from toothbrushes to washing machines to cars. Chips are hardware made of semiconductor materials like silicon, and host millions of electrical transistors which power our devices. If we can power through, no pun intended, the current microchip shortage of 2021, computer hardware will bring to reality all sorts of buzzy tech. Things like virtual reality, think Facebook and their metaverse, the Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence and machine learning. So what's an example of a tech company innovating in the hardware space? NVIDIA invented the graphics processing unit, or GPU, in 1999. GPUs are behind the wildly realistic graphics that you're accustomed to in the video games that you play today, but are increasingly playing a role in the future of robots and self-driving cars. So hardware, definitely worth the hype, but let's bring this tech back down to earth. Take a guess. What do you think the average lifespan of an electronic device is in the UK? 2 years, 4 years, 10 years? Yeah, it's 2 years. And wanted to know if anyone in this audience has ever heard of planned obsolescence. What do you think it is? When companies, option one, when companies create electronic products with an expiration date in mind, or two, planning an early retirement from YouTube child stardom. Not so surprisingly, it's number one. This is when a product is deliberately designed to have a specific lifespan and then stop working. So both of those combined together are not so great. Because unfortunately, when our devices stop working after 2 years on average, they become bulky bits of plastic and metal that don't do anything. But simply throwing them away wastes truly precious metals like gold, silver, and platinum, meaning we ultimately mine for more and pollute as they erode. Currently, only 60% of e-waste gets recycled in the UK. So the next time you need to get rid of an electronic device, have a quick Google to locate your friendly local e-waste recycling site and take it there instead.
Lovely. So next up, we have software. So what is software? Well, software is code that is programmed to deliver instructions to a computer. This sounds boring, but those software instructions bring to life applications that are designed for us to do all of the things that we know and love, from filtering our sunsets to recording a new dance challenge. So with that in mind, chat in any programming languages you might know or might have heard of. So programming languages like JavaScript and Python allow people to write software that communicates with computers and tells them to do stuff. As computers got smaller and more accessible, computer enthusiasts developed all sorts of programming languages to help other humans to do things like write documents on Microsoft Word, use a computer with a standard operating system like Windows, or play as Italian plumbers on Nintendo. And even as recently as the 2000s, all software had to be installed locally, meaning physically on your computer or your local network. So for example, I used to own binders full of CD-ROMs of my favorite computer games, like all of the variants of The Sims, which I then had to insert and install onto my desktop computer so that I could play and experiment with the cheat codes. Nowadays, much of the software applications we use are delivered over the internet via the cloud. No more CD-ROMs. We can access all sorts of applications over the internet on our computers or mobiles for free or for a license from Gmail or Zoom School. The software over the internet is called software as a service, and it's one of the main components of the cloud. So now Zendesk, to toot our own horn, is a great example of a classic software as a service company. Our customers license our software to support their customers in using products and services. So for example, let's say you're watching your family's favorite streaming platform, and the thing starts to buffer right at the good part and you can't watch anymore. What do? You chat on Streamer's app to their customer support team to help troubleshoot. Now, you may not realize this, but Zendesk software provides that entire chat experience from the user interface to the sending of messages itself. This streamer company pay a subscription fee to use Zendesk software application, and all of their support agents access the platform via the internet. So now that we're all clear on what software is and just how many different products and services it powers, we can all agree that software is pretty cool and game-changing. But again, we want to bring things back down to earth. With that in mind, chat in. Do you ever fully power off your computer or mobile?
Not really.
Nor do I, but luckily no judgment here. What we want to do here is think about it. Ultimately, what do software and hardware run on? They run on electricity. And what powers electricity? Energy. So leaving a computer powered on for 24/7 over a year releases the same amount of CO2 into the atmosphere as driving from Paris to Madrid in your average car. Something to think about. So the key takeaway here is using software seems easy and seamless, but it requires real energy for humans to produce and access. It's great stuff, but it's not magic.
Which brings us to the cloud. And we're going to start off by setting the record straight real quick. The cloud is not in the sky beaming data down to us mere earthlings. The cloud is a huge collection of super efficient physical data centers in places from Frankfurt to Las Vegas that use the internet to serve software and hardware to customers. The cloud is behind most of the tech that we know and love, serving up Snapchat on your phone to Google Docs at school. Now chat in or think to yourself, can you name the biggest cloud provider in the world right now? And we'll give you the answer. It's Amazon Web Services with 40% of the current market share, followed by other cloud providers like Microsoft Azure, IBM Cloud, Google Cloud, and Alibaba Cloud. Cloud providers are kind of like parking spaces for data and applications that were once hosted in the garage of your laptop or local server, and they now use the internet to get them to you instead. Cloud giants like AWS and Microsoft Azure provide giant data centers where they buy all the hardware, networking, and software necessary to host and run a million different kinds of applications. Companies like Zendesk pay a cloud provider to serve their stuff to customers over an internet connection. You can think about the cloud kind of like you'd think about utilities in a house. It would be sort of crazy if every home in London had a mini electrical plant or waterworks in it. Not feasible or scalable, a classic tech industry buzzword. Instead, people in houses pay utility companies to send water via pipes and electricity via cables into their home so that they don't have to take care of it themselves. The cloud is kind of like a utility. We pay cloud providers to send services from software to platform to use when we need it all over an internet connection. For example, Snapchat is one of Google Cloud's biggest customers. Snapchat was built on App Engine, which provides Snap with tools and services to build software, ensure its security, and test new features. It also allows Snapchat to handle an increasing amount of traffic around, let's say, exciting Premier League games or the Super Bowl without bugging out. Spotify also used Google Cloud to host their music application. And on top of that, they send all their data into Google Cloud's BigQuery service, where they can run all sorts of analyses on user listening data to hit you with that perfect unwrapped in December. Mine was definitely really good this year. And Amazon may have started out selling books online, but today Amazon Web Services is synonymous with cloud computing. For the last 15 odd years, which is eons in tech years, they've been the digital foundation behind products and technology from Netflix to Zendesk to even Moderna's COVID vaccine. Our fearless, your future, your ambition founder, Rashada Harry, is a technologist at AWS, and she sells various cloud services to companies all over the UK. With the cloud, all kinds of things can become services. So what kind of services do you think these are? A doctor in the UK is able to guide a doctor in a remote village in Uganda through a life-changing surgery. That is going to be healthcare as a service. In 15 years, you call an autonomous vehicle to ride share to your company's co-working space. That is going to be transportation or mobility as a service. And your AI-powered virtual assistant reminds you when you're low on milk to ring your mom and schedules your routine checkup at the doctor's. That's going to be unified communications as a service, which is definitely a very big can of worms. So for a final time, look, the cloud is incredible. It's fun, it makes life convenient, and even life-changing in the services that it powers and provides. But let's bring it back down to earth. The cloud is not a robot in the sky, and it's not magic. We humans have our literal hands in every aspect of computing, starting with writing the algorithms behind artificial intelligence. Once those algorithms are written, the models need to be trained before they can work. And even to just train an AI model once takes a ton of energy, and models need to be trained and tested many times. For example, the machines involved in training a version of Google's language model, BERT, which underpins the company's search engine, produced 1,400 pounds of CO2 equivalent. This is the same amount of CO2 produced in a round-trip flight between Manchester and Leeds, London and Inverness, or New York City and San Francisco. Yes, it is the latter, that 3,000-mile one-way trip between New York City and San Francisco, but round trip. Anyway, key takeaway, the next time your phone buzzes with a friend's Instagram DM of a meme generated by an NFT artist halfway across the world, take a brief moment before swiping it open to marvel at the beauty of your smartphone, the curvature of its case, the precious metals and transistors abuzz inside, the men and women whose minds and fingertips coded every single bit of the Instagram application, and the climate-controlled data center, perhaps in the very north of Sweden, that is host to this meme or conversation, or both.
Fantastic. Now, tech companies are producing all kinds of products that impact our lives and our futures every day. The more we are aware of technology, the good and the bad, the more we can have a sustainable personal and societal relationship with it as we become more and more reliant on it in the future. And the more we can take advantage of all the job opportunities the constant stream of innovation in tech creates. Because no matter how complex or technical a tech product is, there are hundreds or even thousands of people behind it, designing it, programming it, selling it, as well as fighting its legal battles, supporting its employees, and making important ethical decisions. So, for example, here's what's gone down at Zendesk this year. We designed a new user interface for a part of our product, hosted online events to bring our customers together, acquired a company who make AI software. We hit 1 billion in revenue. As employees, we were thrilled when our company gave us one Friday off per month to just relax. Pandemic or not, our social impact team continued to inspire Zendeskians to volunteer and to make an impact in the communities where we live and work. No matter what it is, there are people and teams behind each one of these launches, initiatives, and accomplishments. We'll introduce you to a few of our friends across the tech industry, talking about what they do in their roles now and the opportunities in their roles that the future holds. To start off, meet my good friend Lisa, a front-end and back-end software engineer currently building software to streamline shipping and logistics, which, as we all know, is very important this holiday season, in particular with the current state of the supply chain. Now, Lisa studied history at university, but afterwards she did a 6-month bootcamp to learn coding. Since then, she's been a full-time developer at a number of startup tech companies. In the future, software engineers like Lisa have the opportunity to code truly ethical AI or build the tools powering everything as a service. Next up, meet my friend Jesse, a talented doodler who thought he'd end up illustrating books or pontificating about foreign affairs. After studying international relations at uni, he also went on to do a 6-month bootcamp in the new-ish field of user experience. Engineers code the software, but UX designers design how it looks and how users interact with it, what their experience inside a software application is. Swiping left or right did not just come out of thin air. Mobile apps, as it turns out, aren't the only thing needing designing. In the future, we'll need UX designers to design interfaces for smart energy systems or smart cities, and to promote design thinking in government and public works to drive innovation in traditionally more stalwart sectors. Now, tech companies need designers and engineers to make the products, but who takes care of these employees? Under the Greater People Operations team, diversity and inclusion specialists work to make sure companies are hiring and retaining a diverse employee base and building products for everyone. My good friend Tariva pivoted from selling software to ensuring that the people selling Zendesk's software are supported in the workplace and have what they need to be their whole selves in the office so that they can do their best work. Tariva is a strong voice for underrepresented groups and puts in place programs to bolster their successes, looking at employee data and feedback to help Zendesk be a place that all employees feel that they can thrive. There are more than 6 billion of us on Earth, so in order to build software that works for such a diverse range of people, we need a variety behind the keyboards. Now, lots of us hear lawyers or barristers and we immediately think of courtroom drama. But what about when a software or cloud company want to expand their services into a new country? or they want to sell their products into a heavily regulated industry like healthcare or financial services, or what to do when GDPR became the law of the land, or even Brexit. Tech companies need lawyers too. Zendesk's corporate counsel, Rachel, got right into corporate law out of law school, supporting tech company Hewlett-Packard in Europe. Now, for the last 8 years, she's led Zendesk into crucial deals and made sure we aren't getting the short end of the stick. She negotiates hard. In that time, she's also become an expert on all things data security and privacy, a hard-earned skill on top of the rule of law. We on the sales team are not worthy of Rachel.
And who do you think designed the corporate slide decks and images and typeface that I use today? Not me. Artists and creatives on our creative team, who I am forever not worthy to, bring Zendesk's brand to life, allowing the rest of us, so aesthetically inclined, to tell visually engaging stories with the right typeface, logos, colors, and shapes. And so, as I said in the beginning, Laura and I are both solutions consultants, meaning we help companies evaluate Zendesk to be their partner for customer experience. And when you talk to solutions consultants across the industry, a lot of us ended up here sort of at random. And Laura and I are great examples of two people who set off into the world after uni, not intending to become pre-sales solutions consultants, but ending up here anyway. So me in particular, I thought that I would work for an international organization or the US State Department. I majored in French and linguistics, and I always loved the puzzle of learning a new language and culture, the challenge of figuring out how the words and the sounds all fit together with the ins and outs of being in a new place and having new people to connect to. You can read my full story on transitioning into tech in the About section of this YouTube video that was featured on Undefined World CX Profiles from Timeshift. But the TLDR is that I wound up in San Francisco on a whim and landed a very entry-level job in customer support for a SaaS company. Those sort of proliferate around the city of San Francisco, if you can imagine. And I found a new sort of puzzle at hand. It wasn't necessarily a foreign language, but that new puzzle was how to map all sorts of business processes to software that didn't always have a straight answer. Sort of like expressing myself in a new language, I worked my way up from customer support to success to consulting across a couple of startups in a large public company. I may not work in an international capacity the way I might have imagined I would when I was back in college, but I've gotten to learn the languages of all kinds of businesses, healthcare, fintech, and retail across the US and the United Kingdom and Ireland, and who knows where next.
And my first job was working in a tiny taxi company in a small city in Ireland, which was great fun, but not a clear path into technology. Like Alice, I also studied languages in university, which gave me the chance to develop many skills in research and organization and cultural awareness. Crucially, though, the languages helped me to see connections and patterns in things, to view problems and solutions from a variety of perspectives, and to find innovative ways to make myself understood, which all stands to me every day. Once I graduated, though, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, which led me to apply for a solution consulting graduate scheme in Salesforce, which is another SaaS company. I'd never heard of this role before, but this scheme was designed to give me the hardcore skills needed to be successful day to day. These graduate schemes and traineeships are a great way to get a handle on what's available to you in the industry and are always looking for people with a variety of skills and experiences. And then we'll wrap up with, coming to the end of this, a quick reflection on our goals today. So fundamentally, we wanted to get you all excited about tech and the future, while also making it very clear that this industry has a place for almost anyone. If you lie awake at night dreaming of building the next big application, brilliant. If you don't care about the nuts and bolts of a product, but feel excited about helping people get the most out of their working life, great. There's something here for you. Don't feel pressured to fit yourself into a box you perceive to be the right one. Lean into your likes, your passions, and what your gut is telling you.
You got this. Come work in tech. Come work in the tech industry. Thank you. We hope this presentation was insightful. You learned something new. Tech feels a little more approachable. We did this on behalf of Zendesk. And again, I run the SaaS Savvy YouTube channel, and I'm going to have lots more videos coming to you that are going to bring tech back down to earth. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.